Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be doing a tier ranking list, and I'm going to be ranking most of the stories from the first Doctor's era. Now, I haven't seen all of them, although a couple of them I have seen in an alternate way, like a cut down or a novelization I've read. I will rank those, but a few of them I haven't experienced in any form. There's going to be like three or four of those, I think. Those I will not be ranking. We're going to start with An Unearthly Child, which is a little tricky because the first episode of Unearthly Child is so good, is so iconic, and is so essential watching. And the other three episodes I like better than some people do. They're fine. They're not anything to write home about, but they're not bad either, like some people say they are. I don't find them boring. They're fine. I still think we're going to go A tier, just because that first episode is so strong and so essential and does such a good job drawing you into the premise of the show. And the other three episodes are fine. The Daleks. I've got to put the Daleks in C. It's just average for me. C is average. I do want to stress that. C is average. Anything above C is above average. Anything below C is below average. C is average. It's too long. Some parts just drag because of that. The Daleks don't quite feel like the Daleks yet. It's their first story. I actually think I prefer the newer colorization of this, the edited down version of this, more, actually, over the original version. It's just average for me. The Edge of Destruction. I don't really care much for the Edge of Destruction, to be honest. I think it's got a good ending. It's the first time we see the Doctor kind of softer. I love when he apologizes to Barbara. I love how he's on more friendly terms right as it leads into Marco Polo. But it drags for a two-parter. For a two-parter, it feels like it's as long as the Daleks. It just drags. I don't really get into it. I like the fact they managed to do completely in the TARDIS. They managed to do it completely in the TARDIS is impressive, but I just didn't really get into it. Marco Polo, I've never seen, but I have seen the 30-minute cut down of it in recon form that's on the beginning box set. It's going to go in C, just average. I think if I saw the whole thing, I would like it more, but I'm not going to make it through a 7-part recon. There's just no way. If this one gets animated, I will give it a watch, or maybe if I get the novel, I may have the novel, actually. I don't even know. I may give it a read, and maybe I'll appreciate it more. But for now, I'm just going to have to put it in average. It was fine, but it wasn't anything stellar, the 30-minute recon. Keys of Marinus. Solid A story. Not quite S tier. Almost knocking on S tier. The first truly great Doctor Who story. I love how it's kind of a mini Key to Time, and how each episode is very different and kind of its own kind of thing, with the keys just kind of being the overarching plot. I love the fact that each episode feels so different. I enjoy that a lot about it. It's a nice 6-parter, I believe. Yeah, 6-parter. I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Strong A tier, knocking on the door of S tier. The Aztecs, solid B for me. I find the Aztecs a little overrated. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on I like in it. I like that Barbara gets a lot to do. I love how she's written in this. Hartnell's delivering a good performance as well, just as uh, um my mind went blank. Jacqueline is in this. Jacqueline Hill is in this. Um, I love the fighting stuff going on with Ian. I love the comical stuff going on with the Doctor. I love the set design as well. Just for some reason, the sum isn't as good as the parts, so to speak. I always find it a little overrated. It just doesn't quite edge into A for me. It's a solid B, though. The Sensorites. I've only watched it the one time, and I did enjoy it. It drug a little bit. I'm going to put it in C. Honestly, my first viewing was probably in B, but I don't think it'll hold up on a rewatch. But I liked it well enough. I found it underrated from what most people do, I think. Reign of Terror, S tier. My favorite of season 1. I love the Reign of Terror. Did I say Terra? The Reign of Terror. I want a sequel now to Androids of Terra. Of Tara? Nope. This is going very badly. I'm very tired today. The Reign of Terror I like though. It's my favorite of season one. It's really, really good. The animation is really good for episodes 4 and 5, even if the camera angles for them are a little weird with those quick cuts it does sometimes. But the actual animation style I like. The likenesses are really good. And then just the story I enjoy. I love the first Doctor and everything he's having to go through in this and how the companions are separated. It's a nice look at what was going on in France at the time and how deadly that was. I really like it. It's one of my favorite pure historicals. Planet of the Giants. I'm gonna put it in S tier because I loved my first watch through of it. At 3 episodes, it's really tight. It's paced very well. I love the sets. The sets when it actually makes them look miniature like that are really impressive. I had a lot of fun with this one. So while it could slip into A tier at some point, I'm putting it in S tier. Dalek Invasion of Earth, solid A. It's got a little filler in it. The Daleks are defeated a little too easy, and Barbara talking like fellows is kind of weird. But it's got some great location work. It's got some iconic scenes. I like the idea of the Robo Men, kind of a proto Cybermen. I also love the goodbye. Susan's goodbye is really well done. It's a strong story. Easily, probably my favorite Hartnell Dalek story, although I haven't seen Dalek's Master Plan. What's next? The Rescue S tier. I love The Rescue. It's a great two-parter. I love the introduction to Vicky. I never really clicked with Susan, but I really like Vicky. I think Maureen plays her really well. I like how her and the first Doctor click very well. I love the twist with the villain. It just works for me. It's a great two-parter. The Romans also S tier for me. I love the Romans. Once you realize the Romans is a comedy, you can have so much fun with it. I loved watching the story. The guy playing Nero is so great for that type of Nero. I love him. And I like the fact that the Doctor gets to do some physical fighting. I actually like the fight scene Ian has with one of the other guys when they're kind of gladiator fighting with swords. You can tell William has some sword training because that's actually really good. And a lot of times fights in 60s Who aren't the best, but this one was really good. And I love the fact that uh, the Doctor and Vicky keep missing Ian and Barbara, like they keep barely missing each other in Rome. That's funny too. The Space Museum is a solid B for me. I mean, episode one, boom, S tier. Episode one is S tier. Let's be clear. Episode one is fantastic. What drags it down is the rest of the story. And I shouldn't say drags it down. The rest of the story is fine. Let's be clear. It's not one of these people where it just, falls off a cliff down here or something like some people think. Episodes 2 through 6 are fine. It's such a drop off from what episode one is by comparison. Episode one has some really neat ideas, and the rest of them, since it resolves at the end, it just kind of turns into a kind of standard Doctor Who story, which is fine. Those other 5 parts are fine, but they don't live up to what episode one sets up. The Crusade is gonna have to go here just because of the missing episodes. I like the Crusade; it's a great historical. Uh, the recon is fine for episodes 2 and 4. You really need the subtitles for episode 4 to keep up what's going on. But I just feel that if it was complete, I would enjoy it a lot more. It's a good historical, and I did like it. But I could see if it was complete, it would at least be in B tier and maybe A tier. The Web Planet. Ooh. I gotta put it in F. I will always respect its ambition. It gets points for the ambition. I will always give it props for that. And some of the set design looks good, and the Zarbi costumes look good, but this is just a slog to get through 6 parts. If this was a 4-parter, it would probably be up in here, maybe here, but up in here. But at 6 parts, the Menoptera outfits are okay. The Grub outfits are terrible. Some of the sets are also really bad. Some are good, some are really bad. The Vaseline on the camera thing is a terrible idea and doesn't work. The Grub people are a terrible idea and doesn't work. But its main reason for being down here is I just the watchability of it is so bad. It's so bad. The chase also going to go in F. You know what? Nah, I got to put it in F. I love the first episode a lot, or at least I really like the first episode. I really like the last episode, and I really like half of the third episode. But the rest of it is so bad. I just don't. I don't think they're garbage. Like none of these. You'll notice there's not one for G. There's no garbage, but these are just really not good for me. Despite having good points in them. Again, I like the first episode, the last episode, half of the third episode, and even some parts of the fifth episode. But the parts that are bad are really, really bad. Episode 4 could be the worst episode in all of classic Doctor Who. It is just terrible. Time Meddler, boom, S tier. S tier. The Time Meddler is so good. I love it. Peter Buttersworth is just so good in the role. Him and Hartnell have such good chemistry. Watching them talk is so good. The one episode when Hartnell's not there is done so well that you don't even miss him. It's done creatively well. It's a great introduction to Steven, who we kind of met, of course, in the chase, but it's a really to see him as a full-time companion, and to see him and Vicky together and kind of see how they get along. I like the set designs, look really good. The set designs are really impressive. It's a really nice story. Definitely one of the best of the first Doctor era. Galaxy 4. Solid B. I like Galaxy 4. The animation's really good. I enjoyed the color version of it. The black and white version's all right. Even if the animation doesn't quite match up with the surviving footage, it's a little jarring going back and forth between them. But the recon is so good. I like watching the recon with the surviving footage. Mission to the Unknown is a C. I liked it well enough for what it is. And the recreation of it's really good. The animation, the unofficial animation of it's really good. It's a nice setup to Master Plan, I guess, but I haven't watched Master Plan, so I can't fully say. So I will ignore Master Plan when we get to it in a second. Mythmakers. I got to put Mythmakers here just because the recon is so hard to get through. I liked the novelization of it, but the recon, all 4 parts being recon, was kind of hard to get through. And it has some of the worst incidental music I've ever heard in Doctor Who. Like, oh, it was so bad. It was really, really bad. Interesting enough, a nice final story for Vicky, I guess. Interesting to see it, of course, with the Battle of Troy. The recon makes it so hard to get through. It just kind of has to end up here. Master Plan, I haven't seen. The Massacre, I haven't seen. The Ark is a solid B for me. Like, there was a time I would have had an A, but after my last watch through, I think it's a solid B. I like the Ark. Got a good twist halfway through that I really like, and I really like the creature design in it, the metalloids or whatever they're called. That's a cool design. And I enjoy the story. And then the fact that almost everybody dies just because Dodo has a cold, that's fascinating. The Celestial Toy Maker C. I'm going to put it in D, just a little below average. Parts of this is just the recon. The first 3 episodes are hard to get through with the recon. There weren't telesnaps of it. It's not bad. The actual story of it's fine. Those recons really hurt it. I really like episode 4. Michael Goff is great as the toy maker. I love the story in concept and how it takes a very fantasy element. It feels very Doctor Who, like the Mind Robber. If this was complete, I think this one would be higher. Even if some of the sets from what we've seen didn't look that impressive either. And I do love how the Doctor tricks the toy maker at the end. Episode 4 is really strong. It's the missing episodes that are pulling it down. The Gunfighters. Gotta go in E. I like a few things about it. The guy playing Doc Holliday is good. It's nice that Dodo actually gets some stuff to do. I can't remember if I like the sets or not, but the Ballad of Johnny Ringo song is killing me. The way Steven's treated in it, I don't really care for. just overall, I don't really like it. A couple good things that keep it from being completely an F, but it's definitely not that good in my opinion. The War Machines. I'll be honest, the War Machines is more B for me. I need to rewatch it. I've only watched it once, and it might move up into A tier. Great introduction of Ben and Polly, uh, and a great just story in general. Couple good cliffhangers. Terrible exit for Dodo, and the actual War Machines look a bit naff, to be honest. I think it's a solid B. Maybe I want to rewatch it. It'll jump up into A. The Savages I've never seen. The Smugglers I have read, and I'm gonna bump it into A because I liked the novelization. I haven't watched the recon, but off the novelization, I liked it. I thought I enjoyed the story quite a bit. And the 10th Planet. Another solid B. Episodes 1 and 2 are really good. Episodes 3 and 4 are okay. I like some of the stuff going on in them. I was a little kinder on my reviews. I like the fact we get to see more of the kind of scientist dude with the glasses in episode 3 because I like him as a character. The general's a bit two-dimensional, but I like the actor playing him well enough. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable putting it in B. I think if it was complete, it would be maybe bumped into A. The animation for it is pretty good, though, for the most part. And that's how I would rank what I've seen of the First Doctor era, with 5 stories being in S tier, 4 in A tier, 6 in B, what is that? 5 in C, 1 in D, 3 in E, and 2 in F. Pretty good running, I like to think, for his era. I want to know what you think of this list, so comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. My links to my Patreon are down there. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support as I do the support of all of my patrons. YouTube memberships are also available. Most importantly, thank you for watching.